Jim Bob, I asked Shane Steichen a similar question, but what is the balance like when you see Anthony go down? Obviously, you feel for him, but then you know you have to have to prepare for Gardner to go in the game and continue to go out there and try to win. So, what is that balance like from like a human standpoint, and then also from a coach standpoint?
Yeah, it's a balance that all of us coaches have to figure out how to handle individually. We obviously have a job to do on game day. We've got to go find a way to win that game, and in the moment, when a player goes down, and first down goes to second down or second down goes to third down, you have to just move forward quickly in the moment. But you have an opportunity sort of as the game goes on, as drives go on, to sort of maybe check in on that player or check, see if you can't check in with them at halftime and things like that. We're obviously kind of always, thinking about our guys, but at the same time, as coaches, we got to be on top of what's happening in the game, what's changing schematically, what's going on with different things like that. So it's a balance that we all have to find the right answer for, and it's kind of probably different for every person, every coach.
Just one quick follow up. Did you have a chance halftime after the game to just kind of lift Anthony up, just spirits like, hey man, like I feel for you in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to check in with him. I'll kind of keep the communications between us private, but just was able to see him, was able to check in with him during halftime, just sort of see how he's doing. So,
Nate?
Hey, Jim Bob. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, we talked about in Detroit about how much protections are kind of a base philosophy for you, how much that is something you're thinking about all the time with protecting the quarterback. So when you have a situation like with Anthony, where it's just a kind of his second run of the game and it leads to an injury, I mean, is there much sort of adjustment you can make to sort of help him out in the future? Or do you just have to kind of accept that sometimes there's just that risk in the game?
I think that'll be something we'll be continually making sure we do the best possible research we can into to having the best plan for all that stuff moving forward. But there is an aspect of the game of football that's gonna lead you open to taking a hit here or there, and injuries. Sad as it is, they are real in this business. It's a part of the game. But yeah, we work to want to keep all our guys healthy, and when you're talking about protecting the quarterback in the pocket, that's a huge thing that we're definitely we believe in. So it's an ongoing balance. It's something we spend plenty of time trying to make sure we're doing the best thing for the players, for the team, for the offense, all that as we go.
Joel?
What do you think is Gardner's best trait as a player?
It's his sort of mental mastery of the offense, his mastery of what we're doing, really realistically what the defense is doing, how he can use one thing to counter the other, how he can make adjustments within our offensive scheme to take advantage of maybe a defensive look or a defensive adjustment or a defensive, sometimes you get in these games and these defenses, they have a certain check they get to when you get in a certain formation. Well, for some guys, that they may not see that during the game, but Gardner sees it. Gardner may realize that, and all of a sudden he's got a pretty good idea to counter that thing. And sort of the way that he progresses through the pass game, communicates in protection, communicates in the run game, sometimes changing plays or making them a little bit better as we go. That's his, that's one thing I think he does really, really well. It gives him a great chance to have success, when the ball is snapped, when we get rolling on that play.
Yeah.
And Bob, when you guys are putting all your things in off-season, OTAs, and training camp, how do you, I don't think the words prepare for this, but you've got two quarterbacks with different skill sets, and you always try to tailor your strengths around that guy. When a guy goes down and you go to the other guy, what's in place to allow you to kind of carry on with a different quarterback with different skill sets?
Yeah, good. It's a really good question. It's something that we have to be aware of in the off season, and I think we try to have an eye toward that as we were putting the offense together. putting the offensive sort of install in for the players in the offseason and in training camp. What you don't want to be doing is just absolutely scrambling right now, trying to create a whole new thing. So at certain points in the offseason, I probably told you guys that, gosh, these installs are pretty big. We're making the players learn a lot. That's a little bit of offseason football anyway in the NFL. But, we might have put a few extra concepts in so that we would have some comfort with multiple sort of, be it pass concepts, run concepts, screens, all that good stuff. We would have the ability to play the way we needed to play to give ourselves a chance to win on offense. And like I said, give credit to our players for really diving into the mental aspect of that thing, which was sort of substantial in the offseason, but that's a little bit of that's the NFL life. So we put a bunch of stuff in so that, hey, gosh, Anthony's down, Gardner, you're in. Hey, maybe there are a few plays on the call sheet that we're maybe not gonna emphasize with Gardner, but maybe there's some other ones that, gosh, he's really good at these. Let's bring these up. Let's get these going. And it's things our guys know, things we can adjust to pretty quickly. And at the end of the day, we're all out there playing football, talking about, the changes in scheme and all that stuff, which there are some, but ultimately we're snapping at those guys, we're throwing and catching and progressing through progressions, and we're going to try to find a way to win the game. So hopefully, we've structured this thing in a way that we can win the game in a few different ways, whatever's required that week, be it from our personnel, be it from their personnel, be it from scheme. All those types of things are things we took into account sort of as we put the thing together and installed it in the offseason.
Thank you.
Raven?
So a couple questions for me. First off, the run game was not what you guys wanted to be week 1 against the Jags, but you guys are getting some reinforcements with Zach Moss and then Jonathan Taylor, hopefully being available on Sunday. Just what do they bring to this offense, especially going up against this Jags D?
Yeah, they bring an exciting element. Zach's been playing extremely well. We're super excited to get JT back. Good to see him out there getting a few carries, getting a nice catch in the open field. Those guys bring, they're playing good football at that position, and that's always a good thing. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out how good our offensive line played last week. I mean, those guys were just, I'm super proud of the way they played. They came to work that day. They came to work all week last week, and they really showed out with a really good performance last week, which helped those running backs go. And credit to the backs. They had some really nice runs, and they deserve credit. But a lot of times in this league, the offensive line doesn't always get quite as much, maybe as sometimes they deserve. And I think credit should go all around for that performance. It was a heck of a performance by the offensive line. But speaking of the running backs in particular, I mean, like I said earlier, Zach's been playing great, and now we get JT back. JT, I think coach has already talked about, hey, we weren't going to go play JT 60 snaps last game. We didn't think that would be wise. But as he comes along, shoot, those two guys both playing good football will be pretty fun to see, So we'll see if we can keep that coming.
And then just adding to the good performances from this past Sunday, Josh Downs set a new career high in receiving yards. After the game, Shane Steichen mentioned just how he has a natural feel for the game. So with your experience for a quarterback, how big is it to have somebody in that receiving core who you can trust to get open and make those catches in the open field?
Yeah, we offensively, we have our schemes. We have our plays we've got drawn up. Sometimes they're routes where you got to go exactly this depth, and you got to break at exactly this point, and you got to break out or you got to break in. Sometimes we have the plays where maybe you can break in or out, or maybe sit down. Some guys are better at those pass routes that don't have a lot of options, don't have a lot of dotted lines, as kind of we say on the pictures there. But Josh can kind of do both. Josh, if you give him a few options on a pass route, he can sort of make that right decision. And the more you make that right decision, the more the quarterback tends to lean your way or trust you when those types of plays are called. But Josh has done a nice job of that really all year. What was really nice to see was, a lot of times maybe the guy that runs those shorter underneath routes just only runs those shorter underneath routes, and all of a sudden, shoot, 3rd and 16. Josh Downs is getting over the top deep, making a huge play. Obviously, great throw by Anthony. It was really good to see Josh, show that versatility just to the defense, right? If you're a defense, you're trying to figure out who is this Josh Downs guy and how do we defend him. The more routes he can put on tape that he's getting open on, the better. So Josh has done a nice job. He'll continue hopefully to do a nice job, and we'll keep finding ways to get him the ball.
We have time for 2 more. JJ?
Hey, Jim Bob, obviously with Mo going out of the game on Sunday, Drew got quite a few snaps as an inline tight end, kind of in that 3-point stance. What did you see out of him in the run game on those plays?
Yeah, Tree played well. Tree played well overall in the game, and the run game was going well last week, and I would say kind of singled out the offensive line and the running backs. That tight end group really blocked well too. Tree being a key member of that. Tree was in the trenches against some really good players. We talked about how good that front is that the Titans have, and that was true to form. Those guys were as tough as advertised, but Tree was in there fighting with them. A lot of times you're at the tight end position, sometimes you're one-on-one with a guy that's a little bit bigger than you, and you're fighting to control some space or control a gap, as we call it. Tree fought the good fight there. Tree was competing kind of as well as we could hope he would. It was really encouraging to see. Obviously, Mo's done it around here for a long time. You guys have seen him do it for a long time. And it was good to see Tree's done it a little bit, but he, like you said, got a few extra reps, right? Got a few extra reps. And I would say sort of made the most of it.
Last one, Kevin.
Jim Bob, when you guys do work out quarterbacks, what are you looking for in those moments? Obviously, skill sets kind of vary, I'm sure, with some of the guys. So what are you looking for when you guys do bring in quarterbacks to work out? Well,
all the sort of personnel behind the scenes things, workouts and all that stuff, I'm going to kind of defer to the front office group and Chris Ballard and all those guys. So I'm going to kind of do that.